Hello all, and welcome to a quick overview video of my training as it is currently. The title of my training is Using Teams, How to Effectively Use Microsoft Teams in the Workplace. I plan to have one introduction module followed by 3 primary modules that build upon one another in terms of skill and understanding. Learners can begin by clicking the start button right here. All these slides, I plan to have voiceover for them. For most of them, they're already in place, but obviously since I'm speaking over them right now, you won't be able to hear it. But the text that is on screen will be read aloud as well. The next slide will be the goal of the training, followed by the learning objectives. For this list of learning objectives, I have them all transitioning in, as you can see right here. Just one quick thing. Just come back to the title slide. I built this this main title slide and the other title slides out to a moderate degree to have different transitions and have different graphics come on in. It took a little bit of time to do. I'm pretty proud of it, and it's something that I definitely want to build upon as well here. And then I'll mention later on, but in terms of feedback, I definitely want to continue to see what design elements could be added to kind of build this out in terms of making it look cleaner and more professional. So module 1 is signing into your account. So here's the title slide. I'm just gonna click start to begin. Each of them will include the option to click on a learning objective and why it's important. I think it's extremely important, especially in terms of teaching, to have your learners understand why the learning objective is in place to begin with. I think this definitely allows them to know that they're not aimlessly going through, but that it does serve a purpose. I think that's something that's extremely important, regardless of teaching or training, whatever it is. I think learners need to know why they're doing something. I've also created videos on YouTube that detail, little software demos. I decided for each module I would include a software demo that goes into the process of looking at exactly what is going to be shown and discussed through this process. Just going to quickly move around on here. Yeah, so you can see, I also put in closed captioning for everything. But the software demo, so I'm discussing exactly what I'm doing and why I'm doing it and what purpose it's serving so that learners can follow along the process. Continuing on, there's a drag and drop activity where learners can take one step, match it up, progress through. I'm just going to fill this out, and just to show the feedback that's offered. So yeah, there's correct little feedback and incorrect different feedback for that. Well, learners will progress. There's different quiz questions that I create at the end of each module. I'll just click on this once just to show the feedback that's offered, as well as the end result slide. So yep, they passed, so they can continue on. They can go into module 2. Module 2 is structured similarly with that same title slide. In this module, once again, the learning objective, why this is important. Learners will progress. There is another software demo. This one's a bit longer at around 3 minutes. I also wanted to include like a multi-layered slide that details each of the options within Teams as well, so the learners can click on it and read a little bit more about it. And then again, there are 3 quiz questions for this module. And then module 3 is how to create a team, which is the final module within this training. And this is a section that I'm currently working on, so unfortunately it's not complete as of right now. But what I plan to do with it, just to provide an overview, is to have a learning objective slide to have a software demo, to include a procedural steps for creating a team, which will include screenshots of associated steps on each slide layer. Once again, this will include all 6 different slide layers total, just, first step to 5th step there, and then obviously base layer as well. And this will be another worked example that will allow my students and the learners here to understand exactly what the process is. Just review it one final time. And there's going to be a practice quiz question. This one won't be graded, but this one's more or less just for them to have a better understanding before they go on to the final assessment, which will actually have the learners creating their own first team. And they'll need to, at the end, email me and a member of HR just to verify that they have completed it so that we can see it as well. And then finally, the very last slide will be a summary of today's training. And this won't be a software demo. This would rather be a video of me, once again, going over the different learning objectives of the day, how they were met, and how the learners will be able to use this in the future and become more effective communicators by using teams in the workplace. So the activities that I created thus far are a drag and drop activity, as seen right here. Different multiple choice questions. I've already clicked on all of those, so you've definitely seen all of those. And additionally, I want to have the other practice quiz question, and then a summative activity where they actually have to go and create a team themselves, and then email us to let us know that they did so. Learners will navigate through the course in a linear manner. I thought that this made the most sense since each different layer is a building block. That way they can build up their skills with the process from first being able to sign in to then being able to understand why should I click on calendar, what does calendar do, what does chat do, why calls over chat for different manners. I thought this was definitely the most ideal option and the most the option that definitely made the most sense in terms of how to structure this. And I think I didn't necessarily encounter any challenge. I think if I did, I try to refer to as many outside resources as possible to continue the building process here. I do think that I don't necessarily say it a challenge, but I think it does kind of lead into feedback. So primary areas of concern for me are design elements and the level of interactivity. I think that's something that I really am trying to build out. As I mentioned before, the overall design aesthetic of this training, I want to make as clean and as quote unquote advanced as I can. So any feedback regarding that and seeing if I can polish up different areas, I think for me, something that I want to work on, this introduction to today's training slide mirrors these learning objective slides. And they include that little image of the guy immediately on the right, and then learners can click on to these 2 different slide layers to see the learning objective, then see why it's important. And I think I just want to know, does this suffice, or should I try to add something more? I'm definitely leaning more towards adding something else. I think I just want some feedback to see what could I add without making it too much. And then finally, level of interactivity. I have the drag and drop activity currently in there, and I think using that almost as a worked example does make sense. And I do think that it works quite well, but I'm definitely up for any and all feedback regarding other ways to build out the interactivity in this. Otherwise, I'm definitely interested in hearing anything about the overall design or the aesthetics. If having the same kind of structure for each title slide of each of the major modules is good, adds a level of cohesiveness, or if I should vary it up, I definitely appreciate all of that. And to be honest, design elements, how it looks, and the level of interactivity are definitely the areas that I would really love and appreciate any and all feedback on as we advance this. So thank you all. Hope you enjoyed this somewhat brief overview video. Thank you all, and have a good night.